Hey, what's up, guys? Coming up back with my video, and today I'm going to do my review of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War English dub, episode 11. So, here we go. So, episode starts out with, you see, the guy who actually was making the Zombot toes there. He was actually asking, Renji there to, was actually saying to Renji there, saying why he kicked Ichigo out of the Soul Society there. The only reason he kicked him out there because he doesn't have this spiritual energy there to actually completely be in the Soul Society, and that's the only reason why his Zanpakuto was generally easily shattered there because he didn't have spiritual energy to actually make his on plateau fixable and stuff. And mostly that's the only reason why they sent him to the human realm there because he doesn't have this type of power there. Where it actually, I forgot what the name of the power was called, but he doesn't have that power, but everybody else does, and that's the only reason why he send him back to the human world to actually find that power there so he can contain it there and actually fulfill the Zanpakuto there. So mostly he comes back into the human world there. We see Shinji there opens up the door and he's like, "Oh, hey Ichigo," he's like, "Welcome back" and stuff, and then mostly Ichigo runs and stuff. He totally runs to his boss's house there, and mostly his boss like was giving him a lecture there. He's like, "Why in the heck you um acting like this there?" That's what he was actually saying to Ichigo there. Ichigo was like thinking there, how he got kicked out of the Soul Society there, and why they technically kicked him out there, because he doesn't know the real reason why they really kicked him out there, but technically he was like trying to figure that out. He thanks his boss to letting him crash in our house there and stuff, and then she was like, well, technically, um, she said, technically, you need to act more stuff down. She said, if anything, she's like, anything happens to you, you should tell me there. She's like, she said, she's like, act like your older sister there. So technically, she gets a ring in the doorbell there, and then we see Sunji there. Was telling Ichigo to meet somewhere, I guess, because they didn't really show it there, but technically, he made him to go see somewhere. Ichigo said, well, he has to go somewhere, so he technically left there, technically leaving his soul reacher patch on the ground there. She was gonna try to give it back to him, but technically left there. She's like, oh, I can just hold on to this there. So, when was going on with that stuff there? Technically, Shinjiro was talking to Ichigo, saying what actually, um, what actually, what his actual mother was really is there, and why she became something there. And she's like, you're not really fully a Soul Reaper there. That's the only reason why his Zanpakuto totally broke there, because he was not really a Soul Reaper there, and mostly he can't really control his Bankai there. So he was actually saying something about that to Ichigo, and mostly, so we go into a flashback where technically Sunji actually runs into Ichigo's mother for the first time there. Technically, it was pretty funny there. He was like actually chilling in the Soul Society there. Technically, they were like yelling at him, trying to find him and stuff. They're like, "Oh, Captain, you need to, you need to do this there and stuff." And you see, Chandro there was actually he was getting pissed off because somebody ate his fucking sandwich there. Shinji's sandwich there, and he's like, "Who ate my sandwich there?" and stuff. He's like, "Well, he's like, you're worried about that thing there. I think it was well calzone there. We had calzone." He's like, "Well, why you ate that there?" And kind of, you can totally tell you totally ate it. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "You ate my fucking sandwich." and stuff. He's like, technically, he's like, "How I'm gonna do this there?" He's like, "I take it back, making you captives and stuff like that." And then mostly, he was actually handing him support papers there, saying like, "Oh yeah, this is the town that's technically under attack there." And he's like, "Okay, I can just go to this town here and actually try to save it there." Um, Hirozaki, or something there. I forgot the town's name. Um, so he goes to this town there. One of the Soul Reapers there, Yenji there was actually saying, "Oh, we should follow him," and Tondra was actually saying, "No, he needs to do this on his own there because certainly whatever these Soul Reapers there were getting attacked there, were mostly the ones who were technically dying. He's like, we're rattling the head when your Rex are next over that." So, when he was going to the town there, he runs a couple Soul Reapers there, and he's saying something about he was getting also intel about it there. Mostly they're talking about also about the hollows there, and mostly these hollows are more sentient there and stuff, and they really want to try to capture this one hollow there because they said this one hollow kind of acts like a soul reaper there, and mostly they have to watch out for this hollow. It's actually like a soul reaper there. So he actually was saying stuff about that there, and technically they mostly attack there. We see our attack there. He mostly like was waiting for the in there and stuff, and then we see Ichigo's mother there was saying to the things there, mostly the maid there says the only reason you're mostly part of the Hirosaki clan there, um, uh, or Uzaki clan there, and technically she was actually saying something about the Hirosaki clan there. Technically she was telling the last Hirosaki clan, part of the Hirosaki clan there. Ichigo's mother was. And then she's like, the only reason why you did this because we all know you're like a Quincy there, and your clan's part of like Quincy's and stuff. And mostly the only reason why we will mostly carry you because of this, because you're probably highly of a Quincy there. That's what she was actually saying to her. And she mostly walks out of the room there. And they were saying this don't go out, it's too dangerous there. She's like, why in the heck I didn't want to do that? It's pretty damn things there. She goes to her room there, and we see the next thing we see Shinji definitely taking on the fucking the Soul Reaper there, and not the Soul Reaper, he was taking on the Hollow there. The Hollow kills off his men there, and he's like, oh, a Hollow there. He's like, mostly he attacks the Hollow there. The Hollow is attacking him back there, but the Hollow is technically the same Hollow is actually fights like a Soul Reaper there, and he's like, oh my god, he's like, and he kind of notices, he's like, damn, this Hollow is fast there. He's like, usually Hollows are not really that fast there. but this one is different. This one's actually fighting with Soul Reaper, and technically he was doing that there. Technically, we see Ichigo's mother was trying to head out there and stuff, and they're like, you need to just let the. He's like, you don't need to wreck your neck there. Just let the Soul Reaper die there, or just let the Soul Reaper die there, and just clean up the mess. And also, she's like, she's mostly that type of person there, where she wants to help him there. So she's like telling him, well, I need to help him and stuff. So when Tenley, when he was fighting the Soul Reaper there, he was actually struggling against the Soul Reaper. And then Ichigo's mother comes in to save the day. We can totally tell she's a talent Quincy because she does have the bone. She does have the arrows there. Mostly she was shooting her arrows right at this at the Soul Reaper at the hollow there. The hollow is dodging her, and she gets bite on her arm there. She's like, oh good, and she shoots him in the head. He was ready to explode there. Tenley, the Soul Reaper, or Shinji Tenley saves the day, blowing him up there, and then Tenley, he was kind of pretty happy there, and she was like, she didn't want to say nothing at first, and she kind of told herself she was a Quincy there, and he was Tenley pretty shocked there. He was like surprised he actually made Quincy up in person. So they Tenley headed off there, and then we see in the end of the episode where Tenley, the Hollow, got defeated by the Quincy there and stuff, and he's like, how Soul Reaper and Quincy are like, they're getting pissed off, saying something about they should not be a Soul Reaper and a Quincy should not exist there, and that's where the episode ends. So, yep. Comment, rate, and respond to its bros. We like for those. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification once it uploads. Respond to its bros. Take care out, and peace.